Welcome back, my friends. Hope you guys are doing very well. Of course, with our upcoming game in the Florida Cup final against Arsenal, Sunday morning, 1 a.m. There's only one man I can bring on, of course, to get the insight behind Arsenal, how they're doing, and to give us the lowdown on what's happening right now. So I want to introduce you to a very special guest in Bhavss14. Yes, bro, what are you saying, man? How excited have you been as an Arsenal fan during this summer period?
First thing, thank you for having me on the channel. Really appreciate the invitation. And yeah, the game is going to be exciting. Arsenal in general, I think a lot of Arsenal fans are very excited right now. A lot has happened, and I think a lot of fans are happy with the window so far. Maybe we want a couple more signings, but in the grand scheme of things, Jesus, Vieira, you got Zinchenko maybe making his debut. Yeah, there's a lot of excitement.
Serious, you know. So I think maybe actually the best way to start this conversation is by talking about some of the new signings you guys have brought in. Of course, looking at Gabriel Jesus having an impact already. Zinchenko coming in is a big move as well as Vieira, who had a 6th season with FC Porto. Who's been the most exciting player that you feel that Arsenal have signed this window?
I think the most exciting, it depends on who you think it is. If you want a striker, obviously it's Jesus, but I think Fabio Vieira is one to watch, 110%. I think he's one that's gone under the radar. We signed him out of nowhere. Fans weren't expecting it. And because when fans don't expect it, they don't have time to really scout the players, watch them on YouTube. So I think he's the one to watch. But excitement for me is Jesus because of just the fact that he's the first proper out-and-out striker that Arsenal have had for a long time. Aubameyang was a great goal scorer. Lacazette was good on his day. But just in terms of causing chaos, pressing, working hard, holding the ball up, I'm very excited to see Jesus. But also Zinchenko, man. That's a very good signing in my opinion as well. Having an inverted left back, giving us that technical quality on the left-hand side. Yeah, there's a lot of exciting signings. But for me, Jesus.
For sure. I feel like even Zinchenko is giving me the Alaba vibes as well too. I'm sure we'll see him in the field for you guys next season, as well as like left wing back, left back. And it does feel like Arteta now is starting to build a very strong Arsenal. And obviously, like, in your opinion, how many more signings away are you guys from having like a very concrete chance of trying to secure that Champions League football for next season?
I'm going to go out here with my chest. I think for me, we should get Champions League now with the team that we have.
That's confidence, you know, already.
I don't see why not. I think this is the key part. The first 11 to 15 players that we have now are the Champions League quality. They should be at least. The rest of the squad, like the game against Orlando proved that the first half when you had the squad players playing, you're going to get dominated by teams in the MLS. But the second half, the quality that came on, Partey and Xhaka, you had the Jesus, Nketiah, Saka front three. That's forgetting the likes of Smith Rowe and Vieira that weren't fit or available. Martinelli was in the first half. I think going forward, we've got depth now. It's just as a midfield, that number 6 position. I would like to see Arsenal sign a number 6 to all back up Partey, because if Partey goes injured, which happened last season, I think he's the most integral part. And then you don't really trust El Neni on the same level. So I think, I still think the quality of the team is good enough to get Champions League. And even if Partey gets injured now, because we've got quality in other positions, we're not going to fall apart like that again. So I think top 4 for Arsenal should be a guarantee this season with the money we spent. Yeah,
I mean, to be fair, like, with the deals you guys are doing, of course, very close last season securing Champions League football and bringing in, I think, upgrade signings. I think every summer us fans want to see upgrades coming to the team that can level how we're playing, level the performances as well too. I've got to be real with you, not just saying this because you're here, but of course I've been watching what Arsenal have been doing. I've been following your channel a lot during the summer, getting the lowdowns, getting the insight, and I just feel like the top 4 battle for next season is going to be absolutely mad. I mean, there's so much quality now. I'm even looking at teams like Man United. It seems like Ten Hag is starting to get these guys playing a bit more football now. There's a bit more like structure and like a system behind how they play. So it's going to be a massive battle for all us teams basically. But of course, you know, they've got some insight now behind how you guys have been doing this summer, your business as well too. But let's talk about this Florida Cup final now. So I need to actually get your insight behind maybe the 3 players that us Chelsea fans have to watch out for in terms of like who have been like the best performing players for you guys during pre-season.
Partey is definitely one. He has been on fire in the games that he's played. When he's played, it looks like this is what I say about Partey is when he played last season as number 6. In the first half, he didn't understand where to be sometimes. And in the second half of the season, before his injury, he was playing with authority. As in, like, he was stamping that part of the pitch as his own and making sure that whoever he played against, whether it was Man City and Rodri or whoever, that this was his area. And I think the way Partey's playing in this pre-season makes me even more excited for the season, because it looks like he's finally fully adapted as a number 6, and that's the key part. Because some fans last year in the first half were thinking he's struggling a bit, he doesn't have the legs for it, whereas now he looks like he's got the defensive quality as well. So Partey's one to watch. I think Vieira might play because I think he's back in training. So if he plays, he's a sign that Arteta really pushed for.
I got to ask you this, man. Sorry to interrupt, but give us some more insight behind Vieira. Like, what makes him so exciting for you?
So I think Fabio Vieira is a player that he's so versatile. He can play in right wing. I think he played up front last year in a front 2, but Arteta is signing him to play as a number 8, and he gives Martin Odegaard competition. But what he is so good about him is assisting wise in the final third. He's got that final pass in him, and I'm not going to compare him to De Bruyne or Trent, but those two top teams, what they have there in those two players are when, say, Man City are struggling or Liverpool are struggling, they've got those two players that can just pick a pass, and with one pass they're in. And Fabio Vieira is that type of player. I think he was top in terms of assists per 90 last season in all of Europe. I think he had a lot of assists. So he's also a player that excels on that final pass, and he's very decisive. You know, some players, they dilly and dally too much. I think you've seen it at Chelsea and at Arsenal. Some players, they get to the final third, but they pass it sideways. They're not really incisive. Yeah. Vieira is a very incisive player, and that's why I like to see him players. And the fact that he can play on both sides, so he could play him and Odegaard, or Odegaard on the bench and Vieira starting. So yeah, Vieira is a very exciting signing. Yeah, for sure.
I was to ask you, who is he like similar to? If you had to like compare him to like another Premier League player, you going all the way to like De Bruyne, or like maybe like a different style of player?
I think the one that he gets compared to the most in Portugal is Bernardo Silva, because he's got that work rate. He's very tenacious. He works hard very, very much. And it's very important to have players like that, because we've transitioned from having technical players under Wenger where they didn't work hard, Cazorlas and Ozils and players like that. Whereas now you've got technicians now again that are working hard. Odegaard works hard. He's up there with the most, presses per 90 and working in terms of distance covered. And Vieira is of that same trait. So the dribbling, that incisive close control is where he's similar to Bernardo Silva, but he's got that bit about him which I'm not going to say he's anywhere near De Bruyne, but
I get
that quality of a pass.
Yeah. No, I get you. Of course, the pressing, efficiency in the final third all makes sense. You guys are already like doing your research for your fantasy league teams for next season. Maybe Vieira is one of the guys having your team. So that's cool to hear. And obviously for the final player that we have to watch out for as well.
I think it's going to be. Actually, you know what?
Yeah, it's going to be different.
Because the obvious answer is Jesus, because he's the signing that most fans are excited about, and he's offering Arsenal fans something we haven't seen. But Eddie Nketiah really looks sharp right now, and I think you guys saw it at Stamford Bridge last season. He surprised a lot of fans there.
Yeah.
But since that game, he seems to have found himself.
The confidence is coming in his game, yeah.
Really, really playing confident, and in the games in pre-season, he looks razor sharp and very impactful with the ball. Sometimes strikers get the ball and they just keep it moving, kind of thing. Yeah. When Nketiah gets the ball, he wants to drive, and he looks very strong, very physical. He looks like he's growing into his frame. So I would say Jesus, but actually Eddie Nketiah for me is the one to watch as well.
Okay, because obviously there's been a lot of talks of Jesus and Nketiah talking about playing together, and is that something you could see being like a bit of a secret weapon at times to use for next season?
100%. I think so, because in that game against Orlando, you had Nketiah playing out wide and Jesus down the middle. But if you watch him closely, they were interchanging. And that's the thing with Jesus is he's not an out-and-out striker, but he can play as an out-and-out striker. Yeah. So he can move out wide to the left and to the right. And that's why, actually, I believe that our starting 11 front three against Crystal Palace, if, of course, injuries don't happen, might be Saka on the right, Nketiah left, and Jesus down the middle.
Ooh, that could be a bit dangerous, of course. Looking at that team, of course, and looking at your lineup in the last game too against Orlando, a lot of squad players are getting opportunities, of course, to get their minutes up as well too. And you're just looking at some of the overall quality now that Arsenal have all around in multiple areas, and how you guys are strengthened using like your 4-2-3-1 system as well too. It's interesting because obviously on our hands, we've only had 2 games in pre-season. You guys are like 1 more game ahead of us, and it hasn't been smooth sailing for us. A lot. Tuchel's trying to share minutes out throughout the entire squad. There's a lot of players here. So like when you're combining both these games together, a lot of guys only getting up to like 90 minutes in total, which is still like a long way away considering that we only have like I think 2 more preseason games left. Then literally next month the Premier League is back, and it's just like raw.
15 days. 14 days.
I know, it's mad how quickly it's come back all of a sudden. And I'm just thinking to myself, are we even going to be like fully ready now? But of course, I mean, that's probably a different conversation on this channel for another day, you guys. Don't worry about that. But of course, to wrap up this video now, of course, some amazing insight from Bhavss. I just want to get an understanding behind the tactics, behind how you guys are playing. You know, what areas in the field are you guys more effective in? Is it like maybe off the ball? Is it maybe in terms of like, final third entries or the pressing of the ball? Like, what is giving you confidence and Arsenal fans confidence?
I think it's definitely the authority on the pitch. And when I mean authority, it's like pressing is one, where we're really high pressing now. And last year we tried it, and when we tried it and actually pulled it off, it was very successful. But the issue was Lacazette isn't of the physical profile to press for 90 minutes. Jesus is. And that's where you're going to see Arsenal press a lot higher and therefore dominate more games next season, because we would be, there'll be too much pressure for other teams to hold the ball in for too long. But also in terms of now defensively, you've got that back four with the inverted fullbacks. Yesterday we saw, or against Orlando, we saw Ben White and William Saliba in the same team. And I even talked about William Saliba because he's another absolute beast. So now when you've got Saliba, Ben White's able to play as an inverted right back. And to be fair, his profile does suit that pretty well, because he's not really a good 1v1 defender, but he's very good front-footed in terms of nicking the ball back and intercepting. So when you've got Zinchenko on the left-hand side moving into midfield, Ben White on the right, or Tomiyasu, and then the two of Gabriel and Saliba at the back, two very good 1v1 defenders. In fact, Saliba's got to fit the best true tackle success rate in Europe last season. It's looking very scary, and it's not for us, right?
Yeah, and now it's making a lot of sense now why the board have had a lot of patience and time with Arteta, because to get to this point now, it's not going to happen in one season or in one window or overnight. Like, it's a process and plan you got to stick towards. And now that you're talking about the inverted fullbacks as well too, of course, Tomiyasu signed for that, Ben Wright being using that role in Zinchenko. I mean, it's starting to get a little bit interesting now, I can't lie. But yeah, bro, of course, to wrap things up, thank you so much for coming on. Of course, you guys, make sure when we've played in the cup final and beaten Arsenal, of course, make sure you check out Bhavss's, 5 things that we learned as well on this channel. You'll find all the descriptions in the tracking link and description too. But to wrap things up, bro, what is your score prediction for the final Sunday morning?
I'm excited for the game. I really am. I want to see how Arsenal match up against one of the better teams. We're in good form. I think. Did you guys lose your last game? If I'm right,
you lost some penalties basically. It was mad because we conceded like the final seconds of the game, giving a penalty away, then went to penalty shootout, and then Gallagher. I don't know what he was doing, but I let him off because it's pre-season. But yeah, it's not been too great.
I think there'll be a different Chelsea though. I think you'll play more first teamers because you're, as you said, 2 games away now from the start of the season. This is Arsenal's second last pre-season game as well. I think it'll be a close game. Maybe Tuchel wants a bit of revenge for the game at Stamford Bridge. I'm gonna say 3-2 Arsenal, but it can easily be either way.
Okay, I mean, I guess that's fair. Of course, pre-season, we're all finding our fitness, expecting a few goals as well too. Okay, of course, my score prediction, I'm gonna have to go for my team as always. It's just good luck in it. So I'm gonna go for 3-2 myself, my way. So Bhavss, bro, thank you so much for coming on the channel. Hope you guys learned something from the game. I hope you guys are excited for the final as well. I think it's a great test for both teams now to play against, quality opposition, so we can get a better understanding on both our teams on what to expect and how prepared and ready we are for when the season starts. So you guys, on that note, I'm EFC. This is BlueLionsTV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos. Cool.